And tonight we are privileged to have such a wonderful guest with us. And please just allow me welcome him. He introduces himself. Then I'll be coming back to introduce the topic of the day. Welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. My name is Mark Chemao. I'm born again. I'm married to a wonderful wife called Lynette. We are blessed with 4 children, Tabitha, Emmanuel, Joy, and Clifford. Thank you.
Wow, we are so much privileged that we are having such a wonderful guest tonight. And you know, we have been wondering many a times. We walk around and you hear people complaining, oh, the current generation, the youths of the day, the youths in the church, how they conduct themselves. And so many youths are wondering, what do these people mean? What are they meaning? What is this thing they're calling conduct? And how are we supposed to carry out ourselves, maybe in church, at home, at school? You realize that students have closed and now they are like, now we have been carrying ourselves at school in such and such a manner, we are now at home. And it is a world of confusion. And that is why, to our esteemed viewer, this night we are having our brother Mark Chemao, and he's here just to talk to us about conduct as a Christian youth. How are we supposed to conduct ourselves? And for any question, for any concern, for any contribution, you can just share with us on our SMS line, which is 0718-442578. And as usual, let us keep this session as interactive as possible. Now, Brother Mark,
Yes.
This thing we are calling conduct.
Yes.
You will hear people complaining about the current youth and how they're conducting, and youth are in total confusion. Maybe we can try and help one another even as youths. What is even this thing we are calling conduct?
Actually, conduct is how somebody needs to behave, and it carries the general character of somebody. And in our old days, we were taught how to conduct yourself in the public, even when you are eating, when you are walking, how you're supposed to conduct yourself. When you address somebody, how do you conduct yourself? But we are facing a challenge in our current generation, whereby the manner, the character, the etiquette is lacking in the families. Parents are very busy. To maybe they have a little time with their children. So you see that children are being nurtured by the media. The input of the parents to nurture them, to show them the way, how to behave, it is totally lacking. Even in the church, we are focusing so much on other things, but now mentoring a young man to become the product that God wants is what we are lacking. So we are lacking actually the mentorship in our family, as parents, in our society, in churches, in everywhere. Mentorship is nowhere. People are so much on media. They take their time on media, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, but
on
now
TikTok.
But now the general character, the general mentorship, it is what we are lacking as a church. And actually we are heading in the wrong direction. If we cannot make a U-turn and say no, there's something wrong somewhere, let us purpose to mold our young people in the way they're supposed to go, then we are in a mess. Yes.
So in other words, the youth himself or herself is in a total confusion because the mentor is missing. Now, how can we overcome this as a youth? Because when we look at how things are, we don't see anything going to change because the cost of living has gone up and parents just ought to do so much. You realize that we are having those ones who have to juggle between maybe more than one job so that they can make ends meet, so that they can ensure that this youth is kept in church, in school, so that they ensure that this youth has got what to eat, has got what to put on, and therefore we see, I as a youth, I foresee that maybe these parents still creating time will still become very tricky. How are we supposed to do?
The main is to narrow the gap in between the parents and the children. Parents are too busy. The time they have with the children is minimal. It's not that way much. So how to narrow the gap? You've talked about the economy. People are ever busy, looking for money. Everybody's crying. So you're supposed to ensure that at least you have something at the end of the day. So you realize that at the time, to see your children, you come home when you're totally tired. Even talking to your child is an issue. Akiukaribia unamfukuza because you're tired. And sometimes ukifika kwa nyumba you're on the phone, maybe you're checking WhatsApp, what's going on, or people were looking anything on opportunity on online. So you see the gap is widening day after the other. So how to narrow the gap? It is parents to wake up from their sleep and say, no, there is something that's going on. We need to wake up and ensure that apart from now taking them to school, you know, taking a child to school is not enough. How to mentor that child? You've had cases in universities, people are just dying at their tender age. Now the issue could be that nobody has teach them on how to behave at school. The issue of relationship is becoming an issue. Nobody's talking about them in the church. We're only talking about spiritual field. But now the real issue that is affecting young people tumeiachia social media. For example, nowadays you could have a seminar for 1 week talking about etiquette, youth and modernity, such a things. But now at times we normally meet on is if tell somebody come for a conference of 1 week from morning to evening, teaching, learning, be equipped. Everybody's busy. I need to go to school. But now we are lacking something. So until we say now, we need to make a U-turn and say now, a church, you're supposed to have a mentorship program that actually will help our people to grow and become people can fit in society. I was looking at the book of Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10. It's known as it talks about that we are the workmanship of God. Say that for we are his workmanship created in Christ Jesus for good works which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. We are the product as Christians of God's hand. Therefore, we are supposed to behave like Christ himself. He talks about that him who calls us is holy. Therefore, we are supposed to be holy. Now, holiness is not part of a young people. We only go to church. If I'm talented in a certain thing, maybe I can act, I can sing. That is all. I can play the keyboard, I can do other things. That is enough. But now I'm not observing the ways of holiness. So if you are not holy, then you cannot develop good characters. Because the character we are talking about, that we are the workmanship of Jesus Christ. Our character must reflect that one of Jesus Christ, who calls us holy. Therefore, as young people, to conduct ourselves in the ways of God, first of all, we are supposed to be holy. Therefore, we being the workmanship, the product, we are the end results of Jesus Christ. So everybody to know that I am the end results. For example, you go to buy a vehicle from maybe Toyota. Toyota is a product of Toyota. Therefore, it's supposed to behave like the Toyota themselves. Company like Samsung. Now, wanatoa their product ambayo inakaa Samsung. So, being the Christians, we are supposed to reflect the company, the original creator, who is Jesus Christ. Then you can look ourselves. Are we behaving like Christian-like, or you just running up and down because we are talented? We are. There's no mentorship program, and also the big problem that you're facing is about the parenting. Parenting is an issue. But if we change the parenting and create a room for mentorship program, then we good to go.
You know, you have talked about parenting being an issue, and I'm just reminded during our early childhood development stage,
Yes.
you realize that maybe if I am on the way maybe to school or the market and I misbehave, any mother, any father, any elderly person could cane me, could correct me. But now we look at such a moment, if now, let's say if Tabitha came home crying and he's telling you, Daddy, kuna mama fulani has slapped me on the way.
Discipline me.
Yes. Now you realize that the current father, the current mother, they will not want to know why were you slapped, why were you disciplined, but they will go to attack the person who disciplined. So it's such a challenge.
And that is where we are failing as parents. We need to balance, to understand what was the case, what was the cause of him for her to be beaten. Then you will discover kwamba the child was on the wrong. Now because you don't want to any discipline, because anybody is supposed to be instilled, discipline is supposed to be instilled by anybody in society. A child is a responsibility of a society and the church. But if you chukua watoto wako ndio unasema kwamba wangu ni wangu, nobody to interfere them, hata akikosa just leave them alone. I'm the one paying school fees, I'm the one feeding them. So you keep on counting things are not making sense. But you see now the child is in the wrong direction. Now for example, as young people you can see, maybe there's a certain young man who is away from your church, then one is not behaving in a good way. Try to talk to him or her. Natakwambia kwamba maisha yangu ni yangu. Even
actually we have a song that we say maisha yangu shughulika na yako sipangwingwi.
Even Christians are singing the same song, youth Christians, but this is a secular song.
Yeah.
So that is where we are missing, that is where we are going wrong. But now if young people can change their mind and say, I am a product, I am a workmanship of God himself, I was not created my own, I am a product of a certain thing, I'm a product of Jesus Christ, I belong to a certain group of people, then I need to live a life worth of Christ. Now the character wise, you see, if you have a bad characters, ukiwa na tabia mbaya, definitely you're just a bad person. Hata ukienda anywhere, you're just a bad person. For example, ukienda sokoni kuuza ng'ombe ambayo ina tabia mbaya, ikifika inapiga hii inafanya, you know, kila mtu atanunua hiyo ng'ombe. Na watakwambia tafuta mtu wa bucha. So you know kwamba from that one kwa bucha unaenda kufanya nini?
Kuchinja.
So everybody is not interested in your characters. People are tired. It's only wanakuallow because you are still living within. But if we shape our characters, become God-fearing people, walk in holiness, behave well, then we are good to go.
Now, just maybe before we get to another question, this is a concern. Now that we are in a busy world, we are in a very busy generation. Everybody is busy. Actually, you will hear people say that everybody for himself and then God is for us all. Now people are that busy. My parents are that busy. They have no time even to mentor me. You realize that back at school, maybe the teacher is too busy. They only want to appear maybe in class, and after class they're busy running after other projects just to make the ends meet. Is there any way me as a youth I can maneuver myself and mold my own conduct?
The question number one, who is your mentor and who is your role model? A mentor is somebody who guides you, and a role model is a person who you are looking at. When you are growing, we used to watch preachings like the one of the pastor Mesa Otabo, pastors like Pastor Chris, Oyedebo. These are mentors. You could go through and see how they're mentoring the young people. You could listen to the preaching of the teachings concerning young people, how you're supposed to behave, what you're supposed to do as a young man. So what are interacting with the most? if you're a Christian youth and then you say, maybe my mentor is somebody who's not born again because you love him, then you're also missing. So the only way to maneuver around it is to interact yourself with the things that will help you to grow and develop your characters. Read the novels about Christian character. Study about Christian characters. Listen to preachings and teachings. When you interact with the media, don't focus so much on TikTok and other things, but just focus so much about mentorship. And also look at the life of people who have gone ahead of you, are pastors. Make them to be role models. Study about them. You can talk to them, reach them, and ask them how did you manage this stage of young people. So that was only way that it can help you to maneuver around, interact yourself with the music you are listening. You know, we are listening to funny music. At times unasikiza muziki unauliza this one a gospel, sema hiyo ni gospel nani alimba, and you see that one is huyo anasema huyo ndio mimi napenda role model wangu, napenda huyo msee akiimba unitouch ndio. But you see the song you are singing hapa kutafuta Mungu hakuna. Utasikia tu beats, tunasikia beats za Mungu. So the more you interact the things which are not helping you to grow. For example, if you interact with people ambao unasikia the gospel singers, then the next day unasikia walipigana, the next day unasikia wanatafutana, next day wana such a people. So what are you learning from such a people? But the people who have kept themselves from time to time, they have a testimony. Wow. You can impress them. You can reach out to them. Go talk to them. Let them help you to grow. At least admire your characters. I love my bishop, Bishop Erima. If you look at Bishop Erima and Mom, you just feel you are at home. A man with good characters, the way he dresses, the way he talks. He's a silent man full of wisdom. So if you have such a leaders, such a men and women of God who can mold you, who can influence you positively, then you are ready to go.
Wow, I just want us to hold it there. We are taking a very short break, then we'll be coming back to dig deeper and deeper into this, I can call it monster called conduct. I don't know who you are interacting with. You know, we have been challenged that what are you interacting with most? That is how your conduct will be shaped. I don't know if you are one of the youths who are saying, oh, my parents are too busy, they don't have even time for me, that I can do things the way I want. We are challenged. We can make it so deliberate and just maneuver around and mold our conduct. Stay tuned. We are taking a very short break. We will be back.
So Paul wants you to know